So Legal Match has been able to provide me with access to clients outside of my community. I do practice in a very small rural area. It has provided me the ability to reach out past my own county to the neighboring counties without having to do a lot of expenses in advertising outside of the area. In my community, there are currently about 10 active attorneys. And so it has been nice to be able to branch out to get the additional clients with counties. And like I say, they are neighboring, but they do have some distance because we are in a rural area. It has also been Legal Match has also provided me the ability to branch out of my practice area to where I can get experience in other fields that you don't see here in this community. Legal Match has been able to increase my clients that reach out for possible representation. It has provided me the ability to gain the additional clientele that is needed for my practice, as I had just started out first year, or I'm now in my 2.5 years of practicing. And so it has provided me the ability to obtain my own clientele outside of just local referrals. So interestingly enough, I did open up my practice during the beginning of the COVID pandemic. And so I started out virtual with everything. So Legal Match has actually just aided in my ability to reach out to clients and clients to reach out to me, because being an online referral source, more of the clients were willing to reach out to my firm since it was virtual and already have gone through the virtual process or the online process of putting in their information through Legal Match. It allowed the clients to be a little bit more comfortable with reaching out to an attorney and an attorney reaching out to them virtually. It's just something new that had happened. And so with Legal Match being virtual and COVID requiring everybody to go virtual, it's just I feel it's made the clients a little bit more at ease when they have attorneys reaching out to them, that they weren't necessarily a spam or anything like that, as when most people reach out to you from the virtual world, it more than likely is a spam. So Legal Match is pretty easy to work once you get used to it. It flows really nice, which makes it easy in my practice, because there are some days to where we have so many different types of cases going on. It makes it nice to where we can go back in the system and see exactly when a client reached out to Legal Match and when I reached out to them. And that way in my management software, I'm able to transfer that information over a little bit more accurately. The tracking features is for the retainer agreements and the retainer amounts, I should say, have been a blessing, because it allows me to easily go in and track what retainer I had asked them to provide, as well as any additional questions, as well as their contact information. Going into the virtual world, you have a very limited contact means. Most of it's via email. And here in my area, there are several of our residents who don't use email or don't have an email. And so with Legal Match, having the information of an email, which is great in our world, but as well as mailing information and their phone numbers, has been beneficial for all of the clients that have contacted me. I get leads daily. I think there's very few days, if I've had any since I've been with Legal Match, that I have not had at least one lead. I know there are some days where I am getting 15 to 20 leads from Legal Match. And so there has never been a concern of not getting enough leads through Legal Match, that is for sure. It's hard to put an actual number, to be honest, because not too long after I did go with Legal Match, I was transferring buildings and I did open up my own business office versus just renting. And so I did back off of my referrals through Legal Match just until I got everything switched over and a new flow system honestly set up. But I would say probably at this point, because I'm just now starting to get back into my leads, right now, 1 in 10 is a high number for it to be the leads. Now, I do have to say that now that I'm a little bit more set up in my new office, that number is increasing. And so more of my clients are able to come in and see my brick and mortar shop, which has made it a little bit easier, and to obtain additional clients that I can assist. And so I am seeing more of the leads turning into clients. I don't know the specifics between other lead software programs that are out there. I do know that there are a couple other ones that, as a general, we get emails from, and it seems to be kind of the same setup. I do have to say the emails that I receive from Legal Match when I get my referrals versus some of the other referral databases, there is a huge difference in the amount of information that I do receive from my Legal Match referrals. There's a lot more content as to what the case is about, the contact information. And so I do feel just based off of the emails, the notifications, I am provided with a lot more information with Legal Match than I do from some of the other ones that they're trying to get my business. I feel that in order to really get back from the membership, you have to not necessarily on top of the referrals every day. I know it is dependent upon area. Like I stated, where I'm at's very rural. And so a lot of the leads I get are outside of my county, which is honestly a huge determining factor in my clients because the travel time that they would incur. And so that is a huge weighing point for Legal Match versus where I'm at on the clientele referrals. But honestly, I do believe that if you do stay on top of the leads and reach out to the clients, that you do have a high return on them becoming a client. Maybe not with that case, but I have had some come back on a different case that wasn't maybe so litigation intensive. And so just because they didn't reach out to you on that one or retain you on the initial response through Legal Match, you do get that clientele set up. And so it is nice that direction as well. So the main tips that I could probably give based on just experience is make sure you do access your portal and reach out to the clients. I did indicate that when I did start this, as I was already getting referrals, even though I had just opened my office, that it was my personal opinion that if the clients truly wanted representation and would be a good client, that they would reach out to me. And so that was one area that I feel has been beneficial, because I feel that if you have to constantly reach out to somebody, even as a potential client, that it's going to make things very stressful through the representation. And so that was one rule that I did set out with myself, that I would reach out to them. And if they decided to follow through with setting up an appointment, then I would continue going on that direction. The only other advice that I would give is to make sure that you do put in your retainer amounts, because it is extremely helpful if you're trying to go back and track your clientele, or if you forget or you misplaced what you had informed that client the retainer was going to be, you can always go back into Legal Match and look at the notes of what you put in there with the retainer amount, when you contacted them, when they contacted you. So it just has some really great features in regards to kind of tracking your initial communications with the clients or potential clients. So I would let them know that even though it is kind of a new world of getting referrals and getting clients, it's definitely worth considering. I don't care if you are in a very populated city, if you're in a city center, or if you're out in a rural area like I am, it is beneficial no matter which way you look at it. There's really not a loss based on the contract terms. And like I said, with my own experience, I've gained clients not only in the county, but in neighboring counties. And it has broadened my practice area and my practice field, which has been beneficial on more than one front. So if you are just starting out, don't just look at the price. There's a lot of other benefits that come along with doing something to this. And with everything going virtual in the virtual world, we are a few years into that now. Clients aren't so resistant to receiving tips and referrals online via email. It is more common now. And so I would definitely recommend that they give it a shot.